my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, the legend that is Mr. John Hammond, one of our Patreons and a great supporter of the podcast and a good friend, has picked some doozies, Dave, in his time. Not much so more so than For Your Height Only. The greatest James Bond rip-off ever. That is like the pinnacle of John's pick. I love that movie. So ridiculous. Well, Dave, you didn't tell me last week what we were doing, and I'm looking in the calendar because you are uber organised, and I'd be absolutely fucked without you. And I do appreciate all the work you're doing behind the scenes on this, but you organise it perfectly. And I'm like, it says John Hammond's pick. There's no movie. And a couple of times we've done it, haven't we, where we're talking and you go, oh, shit, right, hang on. Oh, well, we're like, you know what, as life happens and that. And you went, yeah, I know what it is. And I thought, oh, what is this? This was before we recorded last week. And I'm like, oh, no, what are we watching? So anyway, Dave. John. I don't know, obviously you know this. He's picked a Hong Kong horror film, Dave, from 1983 called Devil Fetus. Now, I don't know why I'm going to ask you this question, which I've asked you hundreds of times, but had you even heard of this before John picked it, Dave?
I had not. I can't rule out that I wouldn't have seen something like this. So I remember my uncles when I stay over at my nan's and stuff. They were. It was still the kind of Hong Kong craze, wasn't it? You know, watched so many Hong Kong kung fu movies, and occasionally I'd come in and they're watching something which sort of looked a bit like a Hong Kong movie, but looked a bit, you know, more. A bit more scary or something like that, but never knew this existed. I'd have just walked in and walked straight back out again. And I have to say, it's interesting watching it for the first time in 2024 with the effects and stuff. But I'm pretty sure, Chris, in 1983, I'd have shit myself with this and run out the room probably. So, you know, definitely hadn't watched it. I mean, it's just... talk about a name that is just sort of ridiculous. But no, I mean, I will bounce that back to you, Chris. Did you ever watched it either?
Fucking, if I'd have watched this, Dave, I don't even fucking turn the film, I never did the TV back on and be like, you know, I was even scared of Freddy Krueger as a kid, wasn't I? So no. No, there's no chance. I don't even think this would have had a release in the UK. The only thing this may have seen in the UK, do you remember going into the old, like, off license and that? And then they'd have, like, a little carousel, a spinning carousel of, like, movies. And you'd be like, what the fuck's this? Like when you used to go into the pound shop and they'd have videos or DVDs there. And they were, like, sort of snide copies of proper movies or whatever. Or the odd good movie would be in there, but it'd be like a dead old one.
I'd tell you, you'd have had it. Probably that fucking bloke who used to come around in his larder estate
Yes,
with a boot full of fucking VHSs.
Big fucking bin bag full of fucking VHSs. It's a great movie, this. Yeah. Have you seen The Exorcist? Oh, it's just like it. Yeah, no, it's not. But the VHS cover I'm looking at with the original poster, it looks like something you would have seen in the video shop, either top shelf, and not the top shelf sort of movies that I like, Dave, but the horror stuff in the horror section. It would have been that. And this, if there was ever going to be, I know it's got a cult following, but I don't necessarily think, maybe, I don't know whether it has in the UK, but it would have been a word of mouth movie, wouldn't it? One of them, like, you've got to watch this movie. Or you might have watched something like Eurotrash, which I did frequent quite a lot, Dave, on a Friday night. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But you would get something like a movie or something random in there, wouldn't you? Like some random story, and they'd be like, they've seen this cult classic, they're remaking it or whatever. So there is not a fucking cat and else chance I would have seen it at any point in my fucking youth or whatever. But knowing John Hammond, I was like, there has got to be a twist to what the hell this thing is. And knowing that he was stitching us up as well, Dave. So, I was thinking last week I'm going to be saying the famous words. So yes, he's done well there, John.
Well, I thought we might be scratching around, so I thought I'd get some words from John. So here's what he wrote back. This is a movie I was made aware of in the 90s, and I managed to get hold of a copy on VHS, probably Scotch tape. Forgot about it until I watched In Search of Darkness 3. By the way, would highly recommend this. It's all about 80s horror. Wonderful stuff, and I do appear in the credits of part 3. So there you go.
Oh,
fame.
All right.
So anyway, in part 3 was all about straight-to-video movies you'd find at the bottom shelf. Ones nobody is interested in. Suffice to say, Devil Fetus is one of the movies featured. It brought back memories, and I've watched it a couple of times since. Don't get me wrong, I know it's shite. and I'm likely not to watch it for a while now. But see, he can't even watch it himself. But there was something about it that made me revisit it after seeing In Search of Darkness 3. It hasn't got any better with age, period. Inept, to say the least. Tries to be ambitious and fails. But as a horror fan, it's bizarre enough for me to go back. But like I said, not for a good while. Oh, there's at least one scene that is wholly inappropriate, and the subtitling doesn't help. So there you go, a ringing endorsement from John there.
That's what we had that, though, didn't we? We've had movies where people have suggested them, and we're like, we can't cover that. And they're like, no, I can't, but I just wanted you to see if you should be able to review it. We're like, no, we're not covering, we can't. It's not for us. But, well, thanks for that, John. That's great. I don't know what to say with that. He's done us here. And the fact that he's in credits of one of the movies all day, fair play to John. And I've been watching his horror stuff as well. He does go to a lot of the horror con stuff as well, John, doesn't he? So he's a good guy, John. Really, really good guy. Despite him being a Liverpool fan like you, Dave, he is a good guy, John. And I still remember Well, yeah. Well, oh, yeah, Dave. Well, I can't say anything because we're about to get absolutely...
Yeah, should we get into football, shall we?
Yeah, let's not get into football, Dave. I mean, let's be honest. You've got Phil Mitchell as manager. By the sounds of it, we're going to have no manager by the end of today as we record this because we're about to get absolutely fucking whipped by City, I think. I'm praying we don't, but I think I'm going to be... Yeah, it's going to be Deliverance all over again. Fucking Ned Beatty's not even in it, Dave. Oh my God, we are going to get fucking whipped today, I think. Never been so down on football in my life. And then the stories breaking that Ten Hag is actually being sacked already. You know, so this is what they did to Van Gaal. And you're like, oh my God. But they're looking at McKenna, 2 seasons in the Championship. Well, League One, then the Championship. And he was slated at United for his training sessions, and now they're looking at him. And you're like, I think the Zerbi might be the one because he signed a contract, an NDA with someone. But I don't know whether he's the answer either.
I think they're all great names, Chris. I think all in the hat. I think Pochettino. I think Southgate. I'm just fucking Tuchel. It falls out with everyone. I am loving it at the minute, to be honest. But I mean, it might sound a bit cryptic because obviously when we release this, the final will have happened. Everyone will probably forgot about it and then into Euro 2024. But so we are recording this on the morning of the cup final. And it's only going to go one way, I think.
I know it is. My fucking WhatsApp is going to blow up because Dave's great friend Ben, who's a Liverpool fan, the 3 of us are in the original Chat Footy podcast group. We still have that going where basically I just sit there and take loads of shit from you two about United and they're just sending me memes of all these idiot online like Mark Goldridge and that. We said, do send them back if something happens with you guys, because I'm praying that fucking Phil Mitchell is getting sacked by Christmas Day, because I think yous are going to be on a downward spiral now that Mr. fucking Turkey Teeth's on his way out. I can't fucking wait.
Well, it is dangerous. I am aware of that it can go one of 2 ways, but Chris, I'm sure everyone is like, look, we don't give a shit about football. Get on. We want to hear what you have to say about Devil Fetus.
Are you sure?
Well, actually, as I say the words, I'm not as sure. But should we get into the trailer?
Let's go.
Intrigued by an ornate, ancient vase at an auction, a young wife decides to bring it home, unaware of its sinister history. This vase turns out to be cursed and serves as a vessel for a malevolent spirit. Once in the house, the vase begins to exert a strange influence over the young wife. She starts experiencing vivid and disturbing visions, and her behaviour becomes increasingly erratic and violent. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, you ask that question every podcast, Dave, and usually I've got an answer. I ain't got a fucking clue what's going on in this movie. I mean, the vase thing is classic horror, isn't it? You know, the whole DNA of these movies. I will say, it's 1983, so it steals a lot of stuff from The Exorcist, doesn't it? But not just The Exorcist. I think even stuff was Poltergeist out at this time, The Omen.
It was just the year before, wasn't it?
I'm going to be honest with you,
81,
Dave.
the Poltergeist?
Yeah, we did it, didn't we, the Poltergeist? But I'll be honest with you, I thought I was coming into this saying I fucking hate this movie. I didn't actually hate it.
No.
I sort of enjoyed it because it was just ridiculous. You've got bits of martial arts in there, so that saves it a little bit. And I use that term loosely. But there's just batshit crazy stuff going on. It's like watching some art house bullshit that some wanky fucking film fucking students put together. And the mates tell us how fucking good it is and how superior their eye is at watching a movie and that. And this movie's fucking terrible, but it's also comical because I'm watching it going, it's just a mishmash of scenes. The story gives fucking No Cheat, No Surrender 3 a fucking that should be getting an Oscar. Fucking
written by Shakespeare.
Plot. Yeah, it should be 100%. And it's just crazy. The whole movie is just fucking crazy. The deaths in it are silly. The people flying across the room. Honestly, it's an hour and 40, this movie. But I didn't fast forward it. I sat there in one sitting. I think I maybe made a brew. But I was sat there going, what's the catch? I kept thinking, John's done us here. There's going to be some ridiculous, some mass fucking sausage party fucking orgy or something at the end. I know there's a few little bits in it. But yeah, I didn't hate it. And I'm fucking surprised because I was telling Sam what I'm watching. And she's going, a Hong Kong fucking horror movie. And then Sam then goes, when I told her, on IMDb and starts looking at what the latest horror films are because she knows I won't watch them with her because I'm a shithouse. And I'm like, I'm getting stitched up here. So John has stitched me up, but only afterwards watching this because now I'm going to have to watch a lot of horror movies, which I fucking hate. So I don't know, Dave, there's something about it. And I understand why it's got a cult following. And this is completely off the genre of movies I like. You know that. It's only... it's not an hour and 40. It's an hour and 24, sorry. But it's just fucking bizarre. But also one of the movies I couldn't take my eyes off the screen.
Well, You say you're surprised. I'm fucking very surprised. You bowled me over there, so I was not expecting that. I was expecting you to come in all guns blazing, but yeah, you've thrown me off a bit there. So, I mean, it's just bonkers, isn't it? I mean, this is probably what's gone into Ninja 3: The Domination.
Oh,
If you think about that whole sort of possession and how bonkers that was, well, this is almost the original. I will say, I just looked up. It was 82.
Yeah.
So Poltergeist was the year before that came out. So they probably didn't. I don't know. They churned out movies pretty quickly in Hong Kong, to be fair. So, and there was no CGI that they were working on. So yeah, they probably could put it together pretty quickly. But yeah, it is a little bit batshit crazy, isn't it? And I agree, there is just something about it that is just so off the wall compared to what you're normally used to seeing. And the fact that, I mean, you say you obviously don't like horror films, but when we've gone back to watch like older horror movies, it's not really as scary as what you remember as a kid. Even Nightmare on Elm Street, fucking terrified of that. We both were. But, you go back now and you're like, Freddy's a little bit camp, isn't he?
Yeah, he's funny as well.
Yeah. So cracking the jokes and stuff. So, yeah, I think the fact that it's not massively scary as well. But, Chris, I want to address what I think is the elephant in the room, because I'm wondering, is this horror movie just an anti-wanking poster or something? Because she gets the statue and then she takes it into a bedroom, and I'm like, well, that looks fucking very phallic. And she's sort of maneuvering around on the bed with like this statue, which just looks like a fucking vibrator or something. I was like, is this like, you shouldn't use vibrators? Is this what the film's trying to say? And later on, when the young lad gets possessed, he starts cracking one off in the bedroom as well. And I'm like, is this all about wanking, this film?
Well, Dave, I am a fucking master. I have the black belt. I have the fucking third dan in that, Dave. You know what I mean? To this day, 25 years 35 years almost of cracking one out, Dave. So, yeah, there is that undertone to it. I agree. But I think because it feels like, when you watch the sketch movies, the old comedy sketch shows, like you watch when you were growing up, and have different. I like Monty Python. You'd have the silly scenes that made no sense, and they were all together. It's like that. It's like you say the saying, and you're right. You just throw everything against the wall, and you're hoping something sticks, aren't you? It's like there's just weird things going on. The plot makes no sense because these things that happen in it. I mean, the whole possession, the alien bit with the stomach, I presume Alien was out just before this. That is definitely a rip-off, but even like when the nephew gets possessed, and 1 minute he's got the dark, deep sunken eyes like he's possessed, the real I'm a demon, and the next minute he's all smiley and he flips. I did sort of like that sort of like horror element to it, Dave. That sort of, oh, hang on a minute, is he okay? And then he becomes possessed again and he's fucking rampantly wanting to kill everybody and that. And then you've got the other guy who's sort of going up against him, who's, thinks he can sort of take him out. But I didn't mind that like enemy in the movie, if that makes sense. The nephew, I don't know. I'm really lost for words because I was watching it last night thinking, as soon as it started, I was like, holy fuck, this is terrible. But then as it went on, I'm like, this is also utterly stupid. And I don't know why I'm watching it. So yeah, I found like the dynamic of the way they set the scenes up. And I think even some of the effects are pretty good. Some of the horror effects, the flying across the room and across the ceiling and things. I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good. I'm sure the budget's about fucking £3.50, but I think what they use and the stuff they had available, I think they do a good job on it.
Yeah, I mean, I part of me, Chris, is I'm wondering, is this like Austin Powers when you're just winding me up and then you're just going to Scooby-Doo, like, pull off the mask at the end and say, haha, no, I thought it was fucking terrible. But I'm just going to park that. I'm going to quieten that voice in my head there. I agree. I think some of the effects are great. Some of them are fucking shocking. Especially when they go into the animation. I think it gets
Oh God,
worse
yeah,
then.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, so going right back to the beginning when you have the young wife and she's got the vibrator and you can see she's having these kind of visions. You've got this like demon kind of thing, just basically having sex with her, and then the husband walks in. And then he sees, she's writhing around with this phallic-looking statue, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then so he smashes it on the floor. That's why I think it's all about like, oh, women shouldn't have vibrators or something like that. I'm not sure if that's what the filmmaker was going for. But then he kind of gets zombified, doesn't he? His face goes all mad. But it's when he pulls the side of his face off, and you've got all the little tiny worms and stuff in his face, and he jumps out the window. I was like, oh yeah, that's actually not bad. That. So yeah, I thought that the physical effects at times were really, really good.
Yeah, I think so. I think like some of the room stuff, like the way they've, like I said before, the flying across the room. But I also think as well, like the main guy, the baddie guy, like the young kid, like the nephew. I don't think he's that bad, Dave. I don't think his acting's terrible. I think like playing the bad guy, that sort of Jason type character is indestructible. Obviously, he's almost like a force ghost as well in some of the scenes. But it's just weird, isn't it? Because you're right. I'd never really thought of the sexualized side of it. You're always going to get a bit of sex scenes in it, aren't you? No matter what in these sort of movies, you always do. There has to be some jeopardy because a couple of the scenes when a couple of the women go in there and they're like got like these plunging necklines on, and you're like, oh, right, okay, going for the whole horror shebang here. But I do think that you're right, Dave, on what you said before.
Which bit was that?
That I'm doing a fucking Austin Powers because this movie's fucking shit.
Oh, I fucking knew it.
Trying my best. I fucking run out of things to say. It is fucking terrible. I was trying to save it to the end and I can't. And I'm really going, he's fucking. When you said it, then I was like, you bastard, you fucking. It's fucking rubbish. This movie. It's one of the worst things we've ever covered. It is absolutely, as I've said before, shit on toast. It is fucking rubbish. John Hammond has done us here, Dave. I know he loves horror movies. I've been so reserved and everything. I think I'm going to get you right to the end. And as soon as he said Austin Powers, I was like, you bastard. I mean, sat here going, oh, fucking done me. Especially when he said you parked it. Yes, Dave, this movie is fucking rubbish. An hour and 24, too long in my eyes. I'm sorry. It is absolutely awful. What the fuck is going on here? They've ripped off so many fucking movies around, and you're right what you said before, they churn them out so quickly. It's like, yeah, I get it, they can nick things. We've covered it in some of the martial arts ones. What was the one that we did? Was that John Hammond, the one from the late 70s, Dave, where Bruce Lee was in it and they were fighting against like
Spider Dan's
the
Dragon
brilliant.
Lives.
Yeah,
the Dragon Lives again, I think.
Yeah, Dragon Lives, so you've got like just silly things going on, but the movie's fucking terrible. I couldn't say any more when you said about the fucking animations. I'm like, I can't even keep this going because you're like, what the fuck have you been fucking smoking this morning? It's terrible. It is fucking awful. And I'm going to say it, Dave. This is the worst movie I've ever fucking seen. This takes the title, John Hammond. I fucking knew it would last week, and I've dread all week watching this. And all I got off you in WhatsApp was you said something about, and I went, I'm just about to watch, and you just fucking sent back a fucking someone pissing themselves meme like, oh
it's
dear.
The old Chris Evans bursting out laughing meme.
Oh, Dave, it's fucking brilliant. It is so bad, this movie. It's terrible. I mean, the scene at the dinner party and everything, I'm like, what the fuck are we covering here? And I said before about the effects. The effects are fucking rubbish. £3.50 is fucking too generous. I think they just went in someone's bin and pulled out a load of shit and were like, right, we're just going to use all this rubbish as the effect. It's absolutely atrocious, this movie.
I'm impressed. You were going, you were constructing a good kind of argument for why it was good. But yeah, like I say, it was just that sixth sense. It's like something wrong with the universe here. But as you uttered those words, Chris, that this is the worst fucking movie you've ever seen, I imagine John, he might be, and I know he sometimes listens on the bus and that, he might just be punching the air right now. As soon as you said it, he's like, fucking yes, did it. Because even he thinks it's shit. But, he's fucking stitched us up here. But I will say that is the kind of other dimension to this as well, because I did get enjoyment out of this, Chris, because when you try and stitch me up and you're watching it and you're thinking this is fucking shit, but Dave is going to be watching it as well. And that gives me enjoyment. It was like that for me watching this one. I was like, this is not good. But Chris has to watch it.
Yeah, I fucking knew it. Because you're ahead of me, aren't you? You'll watch them, and then sometimes it's like I've just got to get it out of the way. And all week I've had plenty of time to watch it, and I'm like, I just don't want to fucking watch it because I know it's going to be shit. The trailer was atrocious last week. But yeah, John, honestly, John, I doff my cap, my friend. You've done me. I know we've had some terrible movies, and I can now feel Blake and Spider-Dan.
They love it, don't
Furiously
they? Jack gets in as well.
And Jack gets in. They're looking for movies now to outdo this, and that's where I begrudge saying it now because they're like, "Hang on, I'll raise you one." I'm dreading what the next movie's going to be. That's picked, but this at the moment is the title. Without a doubt.
Even worse than Tank Girl. Tony's again thinking, right, vindicated. It's even worse than Necromantic. Is that what you're saying?
I am, yeah. At least I can watch the shagging the fucking skeleton thing and go, well, there's something interesting. Skeletor's getting fucking piped off, literally getting piped off. But yeah, this is fucking atrocious. It's just one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I think as well, like the budget, everything, and it did make nearly 4 million Hong Kong. Is it yen, Dave? What's it in Hong Kong? I don't know.
Dollars, I guess.
Maybe it's dollars. Yeah. In fact, dollars. Yeah, I think it is. I don't know what that. Maybe translation-wise, it's about fucking 20 quid they made or something. But it has got, and I'm not joking what I said before. I know everyone's probably thinking everything I've said is bullshit, but it has got a massive cult following. Like it's 7 out of 10 on IMDb. It's got like good ratings from people. There's only a couple of bad reviews on IMDb. We give it like a 2 out of 10. Most of them are in the 6s and 7s. So it has got a respectable thing. But yeah, this is not for me.
Not for you. No, I think it's fair to say.
Fucking brilliant. Oh, I couldn't keep it up. I was trying. I mean, I as I got older, I can't keep it up, Dave.
You sort of. But you were running out of steam and superlatives to keep up the pretense. But I stand by what I say, though. I think where he rips off half of his face and you got all the little worms and stuff coming out of his face, I thought that was a good effect. But it confused me because you talk about the young lad and the whole movie's called Devil Fetus. So I'm expecting this like almost gremlin or, critters type thing, this little fetus thing legging it around, terrorizing people. But it's bizarre. The little fetus isn't really in it that much at all. I don't know if it's a translation thing or, maybe it was supposed to be devil's seed or something like that, but I don't know. I was just thrown off by that the first time I watched it. But the second time I kind of got behind it a little bit more. But basically, yeah, she gets killed off pretty quickly because he obviously jumps out the window after seeing himself, in his zombified face, and then she can hear him calling out. And I thought, again, watching it this time, it was a bit creepy, but I was thinking, Christ, if I was watching this as a kid, I would have been shitting myself. And you know, when you're a kid and like you had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night or something, not as frequently as now, but you know, the whole house is quiet. I'd have been thinking about that scene, and I'd have been thinking about him calling out to her. But then you get the cat, don't you, just jumping out and then knocks her off the... Actually, you talked about rip-offs, maybe a bit of a Damon Omen, the Omen kind of callback there. I don't know if you ever watched that, but you know, there's a whole thing about that falling off the kind of banister. So then, yeah, she's dead. And then, you know, she's in the funeral, and you get this weird effect where the guy can almost see through the coffin, and that's where you get the alien bit, isn't it? That's when you can see the fetus kind of growing in her stomach, and then you get the little fetus coming out.
Yeah, and it's the guy's face when that's growing, Dave. And he's like, oh, and it. But you're right. The movie's called Devil's Fetus, and it's literally blink and you'll fucking miss it. You know, like you say, it's a big fucking build up for absolutely nothing, basically. You know what I mean? It's very bizarre, and I do think, look, I'll cut it a bit of slack as well, even though I think it's fucking terrible. I think the idea and premise of what they were going for, I totally get it. I totally understand. It's a completely wacky, it's a camp horror movie. It doesn't really take itself seriously. You say about like the guy pulling his face off, some of the other things that go on in the movie as well. It's almost poking fun at itself, isn't it? You know, like the way the scenes are set up and that. And I do like the fact there's a bit of kung fu in there, Dave. I mean, it's not Bruce Lee or Van Damme levels. There is a little bit of kung fu, which sort of pacified them moments of like, what the fuck am I watching? But yeah, and I did the only scene that I thought was okay was when the nephew's there and he's sort of teleporting and that guy's got the katana knife, you know, and he's trying to sort of take him out in here and everything. I thought that wasn't bad, to be fair. I thought it didn't make sense. There was a few bits that were like, well, what? I don't understand what's going on here. But that's the only passable bit of the whole movie where I was like, oh, well, all right, then maybe we're going to get a bit of a samurai fight. But no, the guy's just dicking around the room and he's sort of slapping on the back of the head and he's in the deck. And yeah, it's just silliness. It's really silly, the movie, I think. And I think that's what is interesting. It's not a comedy, but I can also understand people saying, like, because the reviews are like, yeah, it's very camp, it's very silly. And I think that's what it is. It's just a really shit, silly horror movie for me. And I don't get it. I don't understand. It's not my wheelhouse at all. I just don't relate to these sort of movies. I love the fact John Stitch does, though. I love that. I was chuckling to myself afterwards going, how am I going to do this? Because I've not done a switcheroo. I've only done it once, a switcheroo. And I was thinking, I've got to play up to this just to... But yeah, there's only so much fucking stuff I can do when you know, and even you be listening back going, you fucking bullshitting there. Did you even watch the movie? And I'm like, yeah, I have, but I can't, you know, like laughing. Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
But I mean, you say, yeah, it is a bit silly. Like you say, they get a bit of kung fu in there, which is good. But I mean, the whole devil fetus thing, it sort of seems to get killed, and then the dog sort of eats it and becomes possessed. But then they kill the dog, and then that's where the young lad gets possessed. And that's where one of the animations was terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was proper drawn awful. Like Tony Hart had that wall on Money and Heartbeat and go, oh, look at this there. I was on there once on the board, you know, and they never said my name. I had a picture
really?
On there. Yes, and I was not happy. I used to do cartoon things, and I'd sent something in, like a morph type thing, and I could see my picture, and it was like, it was there, but they never said Chris Phelps.
Shunned you.
Yeah, it's probably fucking bin me off, Dave. But yes, it was there. It was my claim to fame.
That's a shame. I mean, they might have invited you into the studios, and that'd have been a whole different experience. I imagine.
Friends, Ginny and Gary. Yeah. I've got other celebrity come and have a chat. Yeah. You want to be famous, right?
Yeah. Just let's come to the green room.
Literally.
But the
Oh,
yeah, so
dear.
I'm thinking again with the woman, I'm thinking she's going to be the main kind of protagonist, and I thought maybe it'll be about her and her husband and stuff. But yeah, they get done off there. You end up with the spirit in the kind of dog goes to the young lad, but then it seems to hang on the young lad for a lot of the rest of the movie, and I did find that all just a bit strange. Like I say, he's kind of going round, and he's clearly possessed, but then. Like I think you said before when you were pretending that you might have liked it, but when they're around the pool and stuff, and they're talking about this other lady who's there, she's from Singapore. I don't know if that's held up in higher regard or whatever, but kind of exotic going from Singapore to Hong Kong. But I find that bit particularly weird because he's like clearly possessed. He's walking around like an extra from Thriller or something, and then yeah, he just dips up. He just nips up to his room to have a wank.
Yeah.
And then again he's being a bit weird and trying to drown people and stuff. But then, I mean, it was a fairly brutal scene. He rapes. Well, he seems to rape this woman, and then the editing was terrible. Actually, so they. I'll tell you one bit, Chris. He's clearly attacking this woman, and they can see through the window that he's attacking her. And then they kind of rush up there, and then they knock on the door, and the other guy's like, "No, hang about." And he's just like, he's almost going, dit, 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 dit. He knocks in a very, very polite way. I was just like, "What the fuck are you doing? You'd be charging the door down." But they do eventually sort of break through the door. And then I think what you see is like the dog. I think it's the dog swinging or something like that. But then it just cuts completely to another scene. I just found that bizarre.
It's weird because I think that was like, what was that? It was a martial arts movie we did that, didn't we? Was it? Oh, I'll tell you which one it is. It's King of the Kickboxers 2, which is the most...
Oh, God, that's terrible.
How downgraded that movie is from the first one. And the first one wasn't exactly fucking, Gladiator or something in budget, was it? But the second one is fucking filmed on a potato with no budget. But these cut scenes that make no sense. Like 1 minute they're talking about something, the next minute Lauren Avedon's running down the street or whatever he's doing. So... but yeah, there's a few things, that dog thing, and I think when they were eating that fucking food as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Fuck me.
It was earlier, wasn't it?
I love porridge now, but I always have them visions as a kid watching The Golden Child, that bit in The Golden Child. And I was never a fan of porridge just for the taste. I love it now. I have it literally every day. No matter what the weather, I literally have it maybe 4 out of 7 days.
You have some jam in it?
No, fuck that, no. Honey, blueberries, and a little bit of granola, Dave, usually. But no, definitely not fucking jam. I'm feeling about that now. But yeah, that was awful. They were all fucking, they were being sick, they were dying, everything. But it was inconsistent because some people didn't seem to have a reaction to it, which was a bit weird as well. So, yeah, this movie's fucking terrible. It's absolutely awful. And I think with John, total respect for these horror movies. He's probably seen movies worse than this. There is definitely stuff out there that's worse than this. But at this present moment in time, he just caught the wind correctly. I'm already in a depressed state, as we talked about the football, knowing what's going to happen later on, Dave. So maybe I need to eat some porridge like at the Golden Child so I can wake up tomorrow and hope for the best. But yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he is a connoisseur of the horror genre, isn't he, John? And I think he has probably watched quite a few shockers, and this is definitely up there. One of the other effects is when it looks like they just split the film or something. So it's with the car. So you've got a couple there in the car, and then you get this light appearing in the middle of the car, and it looks like what the effect is supposed to be. It's almost like a Christine kind of thing, where the car is getting split in two. But I was like, have they just fucking ripped the film? Like, how have they done that? Because it just looked really, really weird. Looked very, very shit, by the way. But I was just confused, like what was actually going on there.
I think it was supposed to be some weird effect. Like, I've done a lot of video editing. I think it's like you do these videos, and they've got this new software, and you can do things out there. I've been pissing about like a little kid, where you can add like 3 of you, on the same screen or whoever you're filming. So I'm supposed to be doing a big work thing last week, and it's an instructional video, and the guy's there, and I've got him fucking like Speedy Gonzales across the street. I mean, obviously that's a digital effect, but years ago, this would have been done somebody painstakingly doing it, and for what? There's no that whole thing. What is the benefit of that? Like, someone's had to sort of cut and paste and to make it on screen. Very clever techniques and unbelievable patience to do that. But for this sort of movie, it's just not fucking needed at all, is it? It's not like I can just press a filter and go film grain or, duplicate the person on the scope. It's easy to do in the digital age. We're so blessed and privileged. But for that looked like a lot of work for very little reward, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be the director himself, doing that. So it would have been someone else. And I imagine when it came back, there was a bit of him that died inside and was like, that doesn't look great. However, we need to fucking get this film out. So, it's got to go out. Fuck it, that'll do. I can only think that because when we see effects, you sort of... You can't imagine, even the fucking director is watching it thinking, yeah, fucking nailed that. But you have to get the movie out, don't you? And like I say, with the Hong Kong film industry getting them out so quickly, I can only think that there's just such a momentum and a pressure to get it out. You're not happy with 100% of it, but, you put it out anyway.
Well, yeah, then and you're right, like the way they turn these around. I mean, the cast has only got 5 people in it officially, but even the music, they sampled stuff from The Thing as well.
Yeah.
So
John Carpenter.
Maybe it's another for your height only, isn't it? Ding, 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 and just all the way through for 90 minutes. Yeah, this is terrible. I don't know what more I can say about it, Dave.
I don't think they believe in licenses as well. I think they just, fuck it, that sounds good. We'll use that.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've just found a bit of software that if you come across some music, and we know you're pissing about with AI, but you can put an official tune in, and then an AI version is out, and it's non-copyright, Dave. Not of the same song, but something similar. So I want to try that out this weekend to see how it works.
That sounds fraught with danger, doesn't it? But...
Well, yeah, it's an AI algorithm thing, so I'm going to have a look at that. There's probably some cost behind it. If it's not free, I'm not fucking doing it, let's be honest. But yeah, Dave, I don't know. I think I've run out of things to say about this absolute abomination. Have you got anything else?
Not really. I mean, obviously, it just kind of, you come to your climax at the end, and yeah, I feel like the better bits were in the earlier part of the movie, to be honest, and I think it dies off a little bit at the end. But Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, I tried the old switcheroo and I couldn't keep it up. And it's the story of my life as I've hit mid-40s.
We are in our 40s,
Well, exactly, yeah. If there's no blue pill, it's not coming out to play. But, yeah, this movie's terrible. It's absolutely... It's everything I was dreading. I built it up to be as bad as it fucking was. And, yeah, it was funny because when you said Austin Powers before, I was like, you absolute bar steward. You fucking got me. Because I was going to try and go all the way to the review and then do the old switcheroo, and I just couldn't. I thought, it's going to sound terrible because I'm gushing over this movie and there's fucking nothing going on that I enjoyed at all. It's terrible. They've nicked everything, which is fine. It's a B-grade horror movie. It's fucking awful and nothing makes sense. And the whole dog scene was terrible anyway, like the whole like possessed dog thing when he's rolling around. The dog obviously is enjoying himself and they're pretending that he's being attacked by this Alsatian. It's fucking shit. So John Hammond, this is the worst movie I've ever seen at this point. I'm going to send it out to the VHS Strikes Back universe. Bring it on. That's the worst thing I've just said.
Oh my
Bring it
God.
on. So
I can fucking see Jon Snow right now.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I've got the sword. I'm ready. I'm ready for everyone to come and get us. But he's got to go to Alderaan to be fucking fired off, never to be seen again. I will never, ever talk about this movie, let alone even think about watching this fucking piece of garbage again. So John Hammond, absolutely my good friend. So what about yourself, Dave?
Well, I also think this is a terrible movie, but if we send it off to Alderaan to be blown to pieces, it means that no one else will be able to experience and watch it again. And I was right. Even when I was watching the movie and I was thinking about you hate watching it, it just brought that extra bit of enjoyment. And you know what? This throws so much stuff at the wall. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. It's just batshit crazy. I do think it is in that same kind of tiny little space that you've got kind of Ninja 3 The Domination in. And so for me, I'm going to put it in an Elm Street. I can't have it blown up. I need to make sure that it's still around. And you say you'll never think about it or reference it again. I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty sure that will come up again in future episodes when we refer back and come across a different kind of movie that's maybe also not the greatest, but this has set the bar now. You know, this is a new bar. I wonder how many you've actually set.
No, we're not getting under this one anyway. I'm not limboing, Dave. So no. Oh my God. So
yeah,
Dave.
So yeah, I do. Like I say, I think objectively, I probably would put it at the bottom, but no, I did get a bit of enjoyment.
Fucking brilliant. So Dave, it is a Patreon pick again. And this time we're going back 20 years before this movie. So 1983 was The Devil's Fetus. We're going back to 1963, Dave. And this one stars Glenn Ford, Marissa Ron Howard, Dave, as well.
Yeah,
so one of his first movies. I think Jodie Foster is in this as well as a young kid.
No.
Correct. No, she's not. But anyway, that's not the movie. Anyway, Ron Howard is definitely in it as a kid, Dave, before he was Richie out of Happy Days. So this one, Dave, is called The Courtship of Eddie's Father. So let's get into the trailer. Oh, proper sick is this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a proper Hollywood preview engagement. This is a trailer. It is, MGM.
Dad, what do the numbers mean after a lady's name?
Eddie, I am so busy right now.
It says here, 40, 18,
It's
35.
Clark Kent's dad, isn't it?
Holy smoke, who's that?
Is it?
Superman, the original one there.
Played by the number one Bachelor Father of the Year and a galaxy of the hottest numbers you've ever met.
I knew I recognised him from somewhere, but I didn't. Fucking hell, Chris, they're actually putting up the women's numbers.
Oh, I like it. 38, 23, 26.
Even with all that red hair.
Maybe.
Are you lonely, Dad?
Oh, my word.
Sometimes.
Then why don't you
Question
come
mark's
on
got
out
to be
and
out.
start
Mine's got a
living with
ginger
us?
kid and he's got black hair, Dave. Continuity is not working there.
Everybody's trying to play
Yeah, I
Cupid
don't-
for Glenn
yeah.
Ford.
Well,
First is the girl
I
next
guess we've
door,
not seen the
lovely
wife.
Shirley Jones.
Ah,
Provocative
true.
Dina Merrill is a fashion designer who has
good to see he's like about 50 and all the girls are 20.
Yeah.
That way around all your
Hey,
friends.
mate, isn't Dave?
Well, it depends what they have in mind.
Even his housekeeper has her say.
You better watch out for the floozies.
Floozies?
Oh,
Now,
my
there's women
God.
who would marry you this very minute for the equipment you have in this apartment.
The Courtship of Eddie's Father brings
Ah.
together two of the most delightful fun stars of recent years, Stella Stevens and Jerry Van Dyke.
All right, now move straight forward from the hips.
The lesser
See
known
where my
Van
hips
Dyke.
are?
Oh,
Oh, I
Yeah.
do. I do.
Dad,
yeah, I do
here's
as well.
how in my life. I'm in love.
Well, she.
Get Richie Cunningham there.
She's
I
beautiful.
know.
Well,
That-
except from behind.
That,
Behind?
oh dear.
Girls aren't so pretty from behind.
that full head of
And
hair he's got
Sarvo.
there.
Ronnie
Yeah.
Howard, the popular young Opie
Ronnie
of the Andy
Howard.
Griffith Show, portrays Eddie,
Oh,
a chip off the old block.
Look, will you please let me think about Eddie for a change? He is my son.
What an interesting movie to pick,
Everybody
Dave.
knocking
Yeah.
back and forth, bouncing him back and forth. All is this to get to me, Yes.
This gives us the whole plot in the trailer, like, but
Women
anyway.
climbing over children to swoon at your feet.
Oof, that was a belly.
Oh,
Like
dear.
that proper
Good
crack.
slap,
that.
wasn't it?
Where he said, just hit me properly, so she did. Ronnie Howard, Dave. Brilliant. I've never heard of this.
No.
I love the music.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the nostalgia of that. What a great pick there. Well, actually, hold your horses, Chris. It's not a great pick. It's a movie we're going
Steady
to watch.
Eddie.
Yeah, don't be jumping to conclusions again. We've just been burnt by Mr. John Hammond. No, I'm interested in that one, Dave. That's going to be a really, really interesting movie because it's not like when we did Jason and the Argonauts and that. It actually looks quite a serious type movie. With a bit of a
Yeah, I don't
story.
think we've done anything like this. I think we've gone back to this kind of era with, like say, Jason and the Argonauts. We did Goldfinger, obviously, but those were like genre movies, weren't they? Whereas this is like a little bit different. So, yeah, really interested to watch this one.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So massive thank you, John Hammond. You are on my list now, my friend. I'm only joking. Really good pick. And great pick for next week, Justin. If you want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media at VHS Strikes Back. And Dave, I have an update on the VHS Strikes Back YouTube channel. No Chick No Son, the free watch along is at 54,000, which I think that's what it was at last week. So we may have seen a bit of a slowdown slightly. However, the comments are amazing, and John Hammond's been on there reading the comments after what we've said. Like, people are missing the point of the watch along. However, I did put it on last night, and for 20 minutes, I am pissing myself laughing at me and you just talking absolute nonsense. I actually forgot some of the things we were saying watching that movie, especially when Fingy's girlfriend comes on the scene. Is it Casey? Keith Vitale.
Yeah.
She's there, and you're like, yeah, she just wants his leg over and all, or whatever we're saying. We're just fucking being a pair of dicks. So it's no wonder we're getting abused, Dave, from our foreign counterparts. But no, honestly, massive thank you to everyone as always. And the roll call of honor for today, Dave, now has 2 new patrons. So massive welcome and thank you to Mr. John Malone, who will be has joined the Patreon, and then we've also got Hales as well, who's joined the Patreon. So thank you both for supporting the podcast. So we've got a couple more there, which is amazing.
That's fantastic. And Hales was one of our patrons before, and we so much appreciate it. We know, obviously, at the minute, you've got to watch the pennies and stuff. So really, really appreciate that. If you're in a position to support us via Patreon, if you're in a position to write a review or, share us with your friends who might like us as well, that's all fantastic stuff. But Chris, John, actually, I don't have a review for us this week or anything, but John sent us a message saying, Dave, you and Chris are absolute legends. I'm new to your podcast in the last few weeks, and I've been listening nonstop. Absolutely love you guys. Your chemistry is infectious. I'm the same age and have the same upbringing and outlook on life. I have a huge list of movies, about 50. Sounds like your top 10, Chris.
Bring it, John.
And actually, then he goes on to mention the movie he's going to pick, so I won't read out that bit. But we do love the sledges that we get occasionally from the reviews. But it's great to connect with people and bring them into the fold who kind of enjoy our nonsense, really.
No, honestly, it's amazing. Thank you for joining, John. We really appreciate it. And like I say, Hale's been back as well. Thank you so much. So I better do the roll call of honor, Day, because I'll be getting told off. You don't know everyone. So big thank you again to Mr. John Malone, Mike from the Genuine Chit Chat podcast, our good friend Mr. Mike Burton, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Trent, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Ken, Lucky Lily Green, Herbs, Jacks, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Absolutely amazing and brilliant. And I don't know what to say here, Dave, because what the hell have you got in your back pocket to take us out with today?
Well, Chris, as well as being a massive horror fan, John is quite a big Iron Maiden fan as well. Now, back in the day, I think I was about 14, 15-ish. I was quite big into Iron Maiden as well. And I think their album Number of the Beast came out in 82, so the year before this one. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and channel a bit of early 80s Iron Maiden for this one, which I know you're going to love.
You are wasted, Dave. The video is sensational.
Yeah.
What the John Hammond's going to want this. Where's that video from?
It's Number of the Beast. I made it.
Oh, right. Brilliant. Was that who Max went to see? Bruce Dickinson, was it last week?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Our good friend Max Byrne did say we need to be more surrendered too. Watch Long Game as well. We need to do that, don't we?
With its cheesy effects and a gripping rain. Devil Fetus, gonna get ya. Devil Fetus, gonna get ya. Devil Fetus, coming for us all.
That's proper rock in it. Actual rose flower.
With fear in her eyes, moved into a home where the devil lies. With husband by her side, they face the dread as Mrs. Queon's dark magic spread.
Video seemed a little bit better in the second half.
I like it. Dave, I've got to give you credit though, all these songs I'm tapping my feet every time you bring them to the table.
You're the stuff of legend, causing alarm. Through the halls of cult fame, you proudly strut, a cinematic oddity forever in our guts. From prosthetic demons to practical gore, Devil Fetus left audiences wanting more. Though its effects were crude, the story bizarre. In the world of cult horror, it's raised the bar.
Dave, you're so wasted doing this.
With your low-budget charm, you're the stuff of legend, causing alarm. Through the halls of cult fame, you proudly strut, a cinematic oddity forever in our guts. Whoa, with your low-budget charm. Whoa.
Sick.
So here's to Devil Fetus, a gem of its kind. In the annals of horror, it's left its bind. With laughter and scares, it continues to thrive, forever immortalized in cult cinema's hive.
this video fits with it really well.
Yeah.
Devil fetus gonna get ya. Devil fetus gonna get ya. Devil fetus coming for us all.
Well, there you go, Chris.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
I have been so much on a rabbit hole in the last month or so. It's just so much fun putting these things together.
Brilliant. And massive thank you again, Sir John. You have to send him that, Dave. That is brilliant. Absolutely class.
All right. Cheers, mate. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy or something. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I'll see you in 6 months.
I must break you.